Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Advocate Ranjit here, and today we are going to discuss about the legality of multiple jobs at same time. Right? Is it legal or not? If it is not legal, then what is the consequence on the employee? What is the key difference between active income and passive income? How the employers are thinking about the multiple jobs of their employee, and if at all, if you really want to do the multiple jobs, what are the steps that you need to take? So all these things we'll be discussing in this particular video. Please watch the video till the end. I'm sure you will get a lot of insight. Before getting into the actual video, I want to briefly introduce some of the words like moonlighting. The moonlighting is a word which is used when an employee is working for multiple companies at same time. Okay, and similarly, employer is a firm, a person, a company, an organization that provide the job to the employees and give the remuneration for it in the form of salary or wages or whatever. And employee is a person who works under employer. Let us move to the actual video content now. Is it legal to work in multiple companies? Is it legal to do the moonlighting? My friends, you might be surprised. There is no single law that prohibits you from doing multiple jobs at the same time in India. There is no law at all. However, when an employer provides the job to an employee, both of these parties get into an agreement or get into a contract in the form of employment letter. In the employment letter, generally 90% of the companies will mention the dual employment clause. They clearly prohibit the multiple employments when the particular employee is working under the employer. So that is the contract which actually prohibit you from doing the multiple jobs, from doing the moonlighting. And it is, of course, it is applicable for public sector and also a private sector. Public sector as in the government jobs. If you are having the government job, you should not be doing any other job other than the job which is provided by the government. Similarly, if you are working in a private job, again, we can categorize the private job in two sectors. One is corporate sector, another one is non-corporate sector. Non-corporate sector, I consider as a workman, a labor, and a people who are working in an industry with below wages, right? And the corporate people who are like managers, engineers, and above. So the law is applicable for everyone. So this concept is applicable for everyone. There is no restricting law as such, but the contract that you made with the employer will prohibit to perform the dual employment. Recently, one of my client came to me and then asking, "Sir, I don't have any clause as such in the employment letter. Shall I directly go ahead and then perform the job in other companies when I'm already working in an existing company?" That was the question that he was asking. Answer for that is, though there is no explicit prohibition of the dual employment in your employment letter, it is your duty to be loyal to your company, loyal to your employers, which strengthens the employer and then employee relationship. It is, as an employee, it is your responsibility and it is your duty to uphold the interest of the employer. So in that sense, it is not a good idea to go ahead, though there is no explicit condition in your employment letter, directly going and then working in some other company is not a good idea. If at all, if you want to do it, there are some steps that you need to take. Please watch the video till the end. I will explain all these things. As you understood, through the employment letter, it is been prohibited by the employer to perform the multiple jobs at same time. Then how the companies or employers comes to know about a person who is doing the moonlighting? Very interesting question. Every companies, at least every corporate companies will be having a background checking team, or they will outsource to some other company or some other small firm who are dedicatedly made for the background verification of the employer. Through this verification, they may comes to know that you are doing a moonlighting. You are holding two jobs at same time. When you are working in another company or any company for that matter, for your earning you have to file the tax, right? While you are doing the tax filing, an employer may comes to know. If you are working in a multiple companies, for a salary, PF will be deducted from every salary of yours. In that case, the multiple PF deduction may reveal the multiple jobs that you are holding. Employer may come to know of moonlighting through social media from your colleagues themselves. When the productivity drops, then some level of doubt an employer may comes to know. The resources that you are using. If you are using the same laptop that has been given by a company, the same laptop, if you are working for another company, they may easily comes to know about it. So these are all the possible ways a company will comes to know or an employer will comes to know about your multiple jobs. So you have to be very careful. Now the next question is there any distinction between the moonlighting and passive income? Actively holding 2 or 3 jobs or getting the passive income? What do you mean by passive income now? Passive income are those incomes without your active participation, you are earning some money. For example, renting out the house. If you are having 2-3 houses and then you are given it for the rent, you are earning the money in the form of rent, right? So it is called as passive income. If you have invested the amount, if you have invested in the share, if you have done the long-term investment, you will be earning the amount, which is called passive income. You are not actively participating in anything, but you are getting the amount by investing some of the amount. So all these things are called as passive income. No companies will prohibit it. There is no restriction as such. You can easily do it. There is no harm as such. Whereas moonlighting, holding the active job in any other company is restricted from the company policies. Why an employer prohibits the moonlighting? What is the negative impact on employer? Is there any positive benefit if its employees are working in some other company? Let us discuss about it. Most of the time it is a negative impact to the employer. There is no doubt about it, right? So what are the negative impacts? First and foremost thing is productivity, reduced productivity. If a single person is working in 2 different companies, his productivity will gradually decrease, which affects the profit of the company. The conflict of interest. If an employee is working for a competitor of the employer, then there are some possibilities that the secrets of the company will be revealed and then the competitor will encatch it and there might be a potential loss to the company. And apart from this, there might be a data security risk also is involved if an employee is working in multiple companies. And there are some legal risk also will be involved. And now we have discussed about the negative impact. Is there any positive benefit to the employer? Yes, my friends. There are some positive benefits also to the employer. If a person is working in different companies, generally his skill set will be enhanced so that he might become a good resource to the company also. Again, it is a contradict because his productivity will reduced as he is working in multiple companies, but his skill set will be, that might be a positive to the employer. Higher retention, right? If the employer provide the approval to work in multiple companies simultaneously, then possibility of that employee to leave the employer is very less because he is officially working in 2 different companies or more companies and he is earning more. When he is getting that facility, certainly he will not leave the job, rather he will continue for the long duration or long term. That is more benefit to the employer, but most of the time all these benefits will not be considered by the employers or the companies. They always prohibit the multiple jobs. If you really want to do the moonlighting, how can you perform it, right? So this is one of the significant questions that needs to be answered. First and foremost thing is you have to check your employment contract. If it prohibits of doing the multiple jobs, then you have to stop it. If there is no clause or there is no restriction as such in the employment letter for performing multiple jobs, then also what you have to do is you have to go and then talk with the HRs and disclose that you are not working in any of the competitors as such and obtain their approval. Then you start working. Don't use the company's resource. If a company has provided some laptops or some tabs or mobile, do not use the same resources for your another job. Generally what happens is, even if you are working in a corporate company, if you want to work as a lecturer or if you want to work as a teaching faculty, some companies will allow this. However, you have to disclose this to the company, to the principal employer. Then you have to perform the another job if they agree to it. What you have to do instead of moonlighting? Very important question, right? So my suggestion will always be upskill yourself and get good job. You switch the job, get more salary, you settle down. Save your salary and invest in some real estate and some shares and generate the passive income so that you will earn more money and invest in something and financially you will become strengthened. So by this way, you will be happy. Dual job is not so easy because you have to give your mind for both of the jobs, which will become hectic and which will affect your family also. So that is why I always suggest you abide with a single company and then do your job there and then give your best to the company so your career will be good. Thank you so much for watching this video. Good luck.